everyone, Pushing Up Roses here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Patreon Q&A. All of these questions were asked over on my Patreon page as an extra perk, and now I will be answering them. As an extra perk for my viewers, I've added some sweet visuals in the form of me failing, then nailing a painting. Results so surprising, you're gonna have to take a moment. I think I counted around 40 questions, which is more than usual, but I'm going to try to answer all of them, so here we go. Have you gotten any new tattoos? I have sadly not gotten any tattoos in a couple years now. I don't see myself getting anything new just due to the pandemic, and also because I've moved rather far away from my tattoo artist, who usually has like a 6 month to 8 month waiting period for clients, so I don't even know when the next time I'll be able to get a new tattoo is, but they're always on my radar. I'm always thinking about it. I would love to be covered way more in tattoos. Any upcoming movie or TV show reviews with bird facts sprinkled in? I don't know. I try to sprinkle them in no matter what the subject is. So I think no matter what the content is or what the subject is, I will probably sprinkle in bird facts or at least show you more cute pictures of my own parrot. What is your favorite book genre? It is definitely murder mystery and sometimes horror. Have you considered turning any of your paintings into postcards and tying them into the patron benefit, perhaps at a higher tier? No, I haven't. Now that you've mentioned it, no, I haven't actually thought about that, but it's an interesting idea and I would like to do it. It depends on obviously how much it would be. So I can look into it, see how much each postcard would be, and obviously, yes, if it is very expensive, it would have to be a higher tier, but I'm not opposed to it. It's a good idea. As a tech gaming enthusiast, I'm curious how familiar you are with PC hardware, and have you ever built a gaming PC? I am not the most familiar with hardware. I'm more of a software person. That's what some of my major entailed when I went back to college after the whole fiction writing debacle major. So I am not the most familiar with hardware, but I wouldn't say I'm not at least a little bit savvy with hardware. I did build the current desktop that I'm using. It is a gaming/editing rig. I did build it with supervision from the person who bought me the parts for the PC. So I'm not in the dark about it, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert either. What are your thoughts on Twin Peaks? Oh my, I am rewatching the whole thing right now. I finished season 1 again because I love it so much a couple weeks ago, and now I'm going through season 2 and I can't wait to go through season 3 again. I adore it. I love it. Can't get enough of Twin Peaks. Fire Walk with Me is an amazing movie. I like David Lynch in general. Can't say I'm a fan of every single one of the movies he was involved in, but in general, I'm a big David Lynch fan, and Twin Peaks is peak David Lynch. How do you think your approach to making videos has changed over the years? Are there ways you wish you could experiment more? Yeah, I think there's always things that we want to do more or learn more as just creatives and people doing editing and video work. As some people know here, I have body dysmorphic disorder, and something I always wished I could do was be more out there with on camera. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you already know that I've been on camera a lot. It's not easy, but I wish I could push that even more, do more on camera things, to like maybe even some interviews where I'm on camera with certain people I admire. But that being said, I do think my approach has changed a lot. Personally, for me, I have struggled with tone of voice a lot, which was something I excelled in fiction writing, was tone of voice, using my own voice. And for a long time, I thought I had to be a certain type of funny or a certain type of YouTuber to get the hits. And then I kind of stepped back a little bit, and now I'm putting more of my own humor in, and you'll see that a lot more in the Goosebumps retrospectives or the Murder, She Wrote retrospectives. You know, I sprinkle in these little snappy retorts, and that's way more of my own tone of voice. Those are way more of my personal thoughts and my personal humor. So I think I have changed that quite a lot over the years. And just in general, you know, improving with editing and pacing and things like that. I think that has changed as well. Do you have any favorite movie parrots, and would you consider doing a video on them? Offhand, I can't think of any movie parrots that I like, but I do like corvids. I almost said COVID. That is depressing. I do like corvids, so I would say the raven they used in the Crow movie. And yes, it is a raven. They used a raven. They didn't use a crow. It's very obvious, but yep, they did that. Are you happy with the way your channel has evolved? Yes, very happy. Yeah, very happy with it. I'm glad I expanded out of gaming a little bit. I still like gaming. I don't do as many gaming videos, much to the disappointment of some people, I'm sure. But I really needed to do other things. I felt like I had a lot more to say. I felt like I had a lot more humor and jokes to put out there. And when you've reviewed that many games, you find yourself repeating things you've said a lot. You know, you constantly talking about the mechanic or the animation style or the art style or the plot or the puzzle design. And it got really redundant for me. So I'm really glad that it's evolved. I'm glad that I've done different forms of video, riff style videos, video essay style videos, retrospective, personal thoughts. I'm pretty happy. Of course, I always think, oh, I wish I could be doing more. I wish I could be reaching more people, but I'm pretty content with how it's evolved and what it currently looks like. At what point in your life do you think you started becoming death positive? What do you do to help others become more death positive in their lives? I think I started becoming that really in my late 20s, early 30s. Definitely after all of my overdoses, which put me in a really bad position. There have been several times where I had almost passed away in the hospital due to an overdose. And after that, the problem with me is that I've never quite been afraid of death. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm death positive, though. I just wasn't afraid of it to the point where I wanted it. And I think that was not good, not healthy. I think there comes a point where being not afraid to the point of wanting to die is bad and the opposite of being death positive. So I had to really learn to look at death in a different way. And to follow up to your other question, would you ever want to do a video with Caitlin Doty? Yes, Ask a Mortician definitely helped me to become more positive about death in a way that I shouldn't just want it. I should just accept it as a part of life. And because I will eventually die, I should be using my time to be a good person or to improve myself and to not be a toxic person and to put things I really want there out into the world. And so that didn't really come until I really started recovering from suicide ideation on more of a big scale. So yeah, I would say I started becoming death positive definitively in my late 20s, early 30s. What is a piece of media that you want to review but can't due to potential copyright reasons, YouTube policies, or other reasons? I'm not sure. Usually I try to find a way around those things, copyright reasons. I've gotten so many claims, even on Murder, She Wrote, and Goosebumps, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And I usually just try to work around it, and so far I have been able to work around it. As frustrating as it was, I think I've been able to find ways around those things. So it's not really crossed my mind that I couldn't do something or I didn't want to do something due to policies or other reasons. I think in general I've always wanted to talk about music because music is the most important thing in my life. That's why I sprinkle so many music references in my videos, because that's my way of showing people that I love it and I love talking about it. But I think it's a little too close to my heart. It's something I shared with my late father when he was still with us. So I don't know. It's just something I love so much that I actually don't want to do videos on it. You have to love what you do, but if you love it too much, it doesn't work. Do you think you'll be doing some more Let's Plays in the future, Quest for Glory 3, or maybe more MK&A maybe? I don't think so. I don't foresee that. If I do a charity stream, which is on my radar right now, I wanted to do a charity stream for either Mermaids or the Trevor Project in the future. I will do live Let's Plays for that, and I will be playing probably adventure games, such as Quest for Glory 3. Maybe not MK&A. It depends. It depends on how I want the stream to go. But I can definitely tell you that. I don't know if they'll be on my channel, but when I do a charity stream, there will be a lot of gaming in there, you know, playing adventure games, maybe with some special guests. We'll see. Since you covered Beneath a Steel Sky on your channel before, have you checked out the sequel, Beyond a Steel Sky? I actually didn't know that was out until a couple days ago, so I know of its existence, but I haven't looked into it quite yet, just out of, you know, being busy. But I am very intrigued. I'd love to see where that game went. What are some of the movies and TV shows of your youth and formative years that hold a special place in your heart? So I'm actually working on a video right now about a show that was very important in my formative years, and that is Clarissa Explains It All. That was very, very important to me, especially as a young girl. I really held on to a lot of the things I saw in that show. And of course, the monkeys. The monkeys was crazy important to me. I know that it seems like I was way too young, but they replayed a lot of the shows on MTV at the time. And my dad was a huge Monkees fan. You know, he grew up in the 60s. He was in Vietnam. So he loved all of those 60s bands, you know, the Monkees, the Turtles, the Moody Blues, the Beatles, and Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. I have all of Neil Diamond's discography. Thanks, Dad. So the Monkees, definitely the Monkees. Definitely Clarissa Explains It All. I would also say maybe Doug, the cartoon. I'm sure, oh, Hey Arnold. Definitely Hey Arnold. Loved it. I'm sure there are more. Oh, of course, Murder, She Wrote. Of course, Murder, She Wrote. You know, I watched that with my at my grandparents' house. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's one of the most important ones since I saw it at a young age. I loved it. I have these memories connected with my family, and it's important to my channel as well. So definitely. If you had unlimited space and funds, how many parrots would you get and what species would they be? Okay, unlimited space, unlimited funds. Man, the temptation to have a sanctuary of parrots would be kind of amazing. I'm not sure how many species I would want, but I definitely have a soft spot for the bigger birds if I had space. Only if I had space and funds to take care of them, because I think birds like that get neglected. People don't understand how much time and effort it takes to raise something like a macaw or a cockatoo. So I wouldn't want that many, because I would want to be able to give my time equally. And birds are tough, man. They need a lot of attention. So I think I would have a hard time spreading all my attention between all of these parrots. So I probably wouldn't get as many as I would want. But definitely a macaw. I'm also interested in the mini macaws. They're so special. They're just so special and wonderful, and I love them. Have you played any games recently that you really liked or had a big impact on you? Also, I would love more videos where you tell me bird facts and tell me to be nice to them. Yes, I think I was veering into threatening territory in my last Magnum video. And if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend watching my Magnum PI video where I basically threaten people to be nice to birds. In terms of playing any games recently that I liked and had a big impact on me, honestly, I just started playing Animal Crossing. It's very pleasant. It actually does have a big impact on me. It's been really helping me to de-stress. It's just one of those games that's very easy to de-stress to. In terms of having a big impact, one game does come to mind. It's not terribly recent. It's about 5 years old already, but this is as recent as Impact has, and that would be Fran Bow. Highly recommended. It's an indie adventure game. Oh, wait. Speaking of indie adventure games, sorry. Definitely still really recommend Fran Bow, but also Unavowed by Wadget Eye Games. I hadn't enjoyed an adventure game since Fran Bow at that point, so I definitely those indie adventure games, Fran Bow and Unavowed. And of course, again, I'm really loving Animal Crossing. It's fun discovering things that people already kind of know what to do, and I'm just for the first time discovering them. It's very pleasant. Have you heard of the King's Quest fan games made in ZZT? If yes, would you consider streaming or reviewing them? I'm not sure if I've heard those made in ZZT, actually. I have heard of some of the Quest games having fan games, like a couple of the King's Quest games and the Space Quest games, but I wasn't aware that there were some made in ZZT. That is intriguing, and I would consider looking at them, yes. What's your favorite murder mystery series? Oh, it's definitely Murder, She Wrote. That's definitely in terms of TV shows, though. I love Murder, She Wrote, and I love Columbo. I'm also a big fan, and I don't know if you would consider them murder mystery series. They're more crime series, but I love SVU. I know, it's a guilty pleasure at this point. Really liked SVU, and I like the CSI series. I like the original CSI with Sarah and what was the guy's name? Graham? I gotta look it up like right now. I watched that show religiously. CSI. What's this guy's name? Why? It's a G, right? Why can't I remember it? Gil, not I don't know what I said. I said Graham or something. I'm thinking of King's Quest again. Yeah, with Gil Grissom and Sarah Siddle, and I watched that show all the time. Loved it. Oh, I kind of miss it, not gonna lie. But if we're talking about ultimate favorites, I would say Murder, She Wrote. In terms of books, I'm a big Agatha Christie fan. And in terms of series, I really like the Jack Daniels series by K.A. Conrath. And those are the series named after drinks. So Whiskey Sour, I think, was the first one. And then there was like Bloody Mary and Rusty Nail. I think those books are really, really, really good, and I do recommend them. Any plans for another Golden Girls retrospective? May I suggest Grab That Dough? I love that. I love that episode with Grab That Dough. That's when they're on a television game show, and it's really, really, really funny. Some of the best quotes are from that one, I think. Yes, I always have plans for another Golden Girls retrospective. I have so many things going on that maybe I should, maybe I should try to commit more to things I've already started, like Golden Girls. The Golden Girls don't do as well as other things, but I would like to do more specific episode retrospectives, and I would like to do a more big picture retrospective on the Golden Girls, their dynamic as friends, their prowess, and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on the ending to Thimbleweed Park? I'm going to be honest, I was really angry at first because I had gotten so involved in that game. My heart was in it, and I was loving it so much. I felt like it was playing with my heartstrings. And then the ending came up, and I won't say the ending, even though it has been several years, and I think it would be okay to talk spoilers. At this point, I'll try to avoid it here. But I was angry at first, but then I realized I did kind of like it, and I kind of enjoyed it, and that's Ron Gilbert's jam, and I respect it. I've come to respect it, I think. I've come to respect the absurdity of that ending. With the Ryan Reynolds Clue movie coming up soon, who would you cast for a modern Clue movie? I don't have any idea. I thought about this long and hard because I saw this question pop up in my email when this post went up to collect the Q&A, to collect the questions. Like, come on, who would we cast as Wadsworth? There must be someone that I can think of. I mean, maybe Ryan Reynolds as Wadsworth, because I think he might have the energy. I like Taron Egerton, but I don't know if goofy comedy is real. I have no idea. I just have no clue who I would cast. That is sad. Disappointing that I can't think of anything. How many pets do you have? I just have one at the moment, my parrot, Needles, and she is a yellow-sided, green-cheek, turquoise conure. I might have gotten that mixed up somewhere. She's definitely a yellow-sided, turquoise something conure. She's a bit of a mix. And yep, she's the only pet I have. Have you seen the Canadian shows Murdoch Mysteries and Frankie Drake Mysteries? And if you would you consider doing a video on either of them? I have not watched them personally, but I've definitely heard of the Murdoch Mysteries. I have not heard of the Frankie Drake Mysteries. That's new to me. But Murdoch Mysteries has been suggested to me multiple times on the channel and on Twitter. So at the very least, I will look into it and see what it's all about. What inspired you to take up the pour technique you're currently using in painting? I think I just wanted to try something new. I've been doing art for a really, really long time. Well over 25 years, I would say. As an artist, you just have to keep finding ways to make it fresh and experiment and expand your skills. There was a challenge to fluid art that I wasn't used to. And when I initially tried it, I just really wanted to make something pretty. I tried it and I failed like crazy. It was terrible. The first fluid art painting I made was the ugliest thing I think I've ever made. So I took that failure and I really wanted to be good at it. And so there's this challenge that comes with fluid art and pouring, and there's this unpredictability, and you want to get really good at it. I also wanted to bring a more macabre, more creepy feel to the fluid art technique. I hadn't seen it a lot, and I really thought I could. So it's just a constant challenge. It's a good challenge. It's a healthy challenge. It's unpredictable, and it's fulfilling when you really nail something. So I think all those things kind of came together and inspired my want to get good at it. The end is nigh, and destruction is imminent. You, roses, are given the chance to save the world. What song and dance do you choose in this clear dance-off to save the world situation? Oh, no. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I could save the world with my dancing. Can we just go back to the whole shack shimmy from the Love Shack from the B-52s? It's not a real good dance, but I think it deserves a comeback, and then the world will see. They'll see that we could have made this into a dance, and it will save the world out of pure hope. Yeah, I'm going with that. Have you heard of or played the Shape-Shifting Detective or Dark Knights with Poe and Monroe? They're really fun, cheesy live-action FMV detective games, kind of like Contradiction, and they have some shared actors. Also, are there any games you played recently that you particularly enjoyed? I think I definitely answered the latter question there a few questions back, so knocked 2 questions out in one. As I've only heard of the Shape-Shifting Detective, and I haven't played it yet, but I've heard of the Shape-Shifting Detective. It's just a matter of time. I don't have a lot of time to play games, but if it's more of a shorter game with a more finite ending and story, I'm definitely down for trying it, so I should look at it. I don't know why I didn't. Like I said, there's just a million things coming out at once, and we'll see. I'll give it a look. I just adore your bird. Thank you. Can we get just a bit more conure action mixed here and there? Yes. I will make the effort to involve needles in my videos. What is your dream house, design, interior, or exterior? And more importantly, what sort of secret passages, traps, or hidden elements would it contain? You know, when I think about houses, and they're my dream houses, I always go back to my childhood playing the King's Quest games and wanting a shack, like a cottage, like a very cozy, comfy cottage, probably with not great internet connection, in the woods somewhere, with one of those like water wheel houses. I've always been very drawn to the cozy cottage in the woods type of a thing, but I'm also very attracted to goth type of strange goth mansion-y things with a lot of dark interior and reds and blacks. I also love gargoyles and gates that have gargoyles on them. So think Stephen King's house out in Maine. In regards to secret passages and traps and hidden elements, I would like there to be a secret room somewhere. Like maybe behind a bookcase where I do all of my secret work. I don't know. It's probably just going to be an art studio. Favorite recent games? Again, I think I definitely hit that mark. It's got to be Animal Crossing. Ever consider doing some crazy ex-girlfriend videos? I have not considered videos on those, but I definitely think that a lot of the content in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend would be used as amazing examples about stigmatizing mental illness and talking about mental illness. So I may make reference to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I don't know if I really want to do a video. To be quite frank, that show is very difficult for me to watch. It really hit close to home. I found myself crying a lot. If you haven't seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, please don't be put off by the name of the show. It's very, very, very good. Have you considered delving into game creation, script writing, or alternatively screenwriting for mystery shows? I have considered it in the past. Yeah, definitely. I think when I majored in fiction writing, I did want to write. For something, either for myself or for to create a book, write a novel, write a book. I don't think I've ever really thought about game creation because I don't think my particular style of writing really lends itself to game creation. It's kind of more of a dream. I do like writing. Like I said, I wouldn't have majored in writing if I didn't like it, but I don't know if anything will really come of that. I use most of my writing skills for the YouTube channel, for riffing and making jokes and tone of voice and perspective and things like that. Would you want to interview or just have a regular conversation with Roberta Williams, and what would you ask for? I'm gonna say yes. In principle, I would love that. Of course, I would love to talk to Roberta Williams, and I would love to talk to her about King's Quest. But I think that Roberta has since stepped away from gaming and stepped away from interviews. So I think more than anything, I would just like to respect her wishes and not badger her about anything. I totally understand it. But if I were to have a regular conversation with her, I think primarily I would like to discuss King's Quest and the Colonel's Bequest, which is the first Laura Bow game. What's your most favorite card game and the one card game you could do without for the rest of eternity? I don't play many card games anymore, but when I was younger, we used to play a game called Pay Me. I think if you were going to compare it to anything, it would be maybe Gin Rummy. So I could probably do without card games for the rest of eternity because I just don't play them very often. Again, with the exception of Pay Me, which was my childhood. We would go out to, vacation house, my cousins and some of my family. We would play that all night. It was very, very fun. What's your favorite Monkey Island sword fighting pirate insult? There's oh man, I don't know if I can pick one out. There's always the classic, you fight like a cow. You fight like a dairy farmer, stuff like that. I would really have to go over. I can definitely tell you that my favorite insults probably came from Monkey Island 3. Not to shit all over Monkey Island 2. It's one of the funniest games ever made. I think I just remember them more in 3 because it was a voiced game. So I can hear them, saying things. What other children's horror shows or books were you interested in besides Goosebumps when you were little? I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't interested at all. I was young. I was afraid of everything when I was younger. I was nothing like how I am today. I didn't get into horror a little bit later. So as a child, when those shows were popular, like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, Eerie, Indiana, I was not into it. I was afraid of everything. So I'm just going to be totally honest with you and say I wasn't. Not until a little bit later, not until after into my teenage years, I would say, is when I started to get into horror. What 90s PC games did you find to be overhyped that everyone else loved? Ooh, that is a really good question. I'm not sure. In the 90s, not a lot of kids my age had a computer. In fact, I was made fun of for even wanting a computer in the 90s. And I got a computer very early on. So I don't even know what people were playing. I was playing older games at the time, even. I was playing King's Quest and Space Quest, the older ones. So I'm not sure what PC games people were playing in the 90s at all. I'm not sure what I would have found to be overhyped because I was playing a different set of games. What are some of your favorite adult-themed horror movies and shows? I really, really, really love The Babadook. I think that was an amazing horror movie. I really like Suspiria, another amazing horror movie. Kubrick's Shining, I think, is a brilliant horror movie just in terms of visual and the feeling of being uncomfortable all the time. Every now and then, I like American Horror Story. I don't like every single season, but every now and then they'll hit something really horrific with me. I particularly liked the Freak Show one because I just like that kind of stuff. I watched the movie Freaks, and I watch all the television shows that involve carnivals and sideshows and stuff like that. So I did like that season. I don't like every single season. I thought Murder House was okay. So I do like that. In terms of horror shows, I think I watch more horror movies than actual TV shows. So there's that. Have you seen the recent Are You Afraid of the Dark revival, and would you consider doing a video of it? I have seen it. I'm not sure I liked it all that much. It was pretty good for what it was, but it didn't really make me think of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It actually made me think more of It. like the most recent It, kind of a coming of age, you're with your friends, but it's also a horror themed thing. And it's also, the revival wasn't a TV show in a traditional way. It wasn't a 23-minute episode with the Midnight Society, not really. So I'm not sure if I would do a video on it because I wasn't really a big fan of it, but it was good for what it was. If you like that kind of stuff in modern times, I think younger people would really like that. I think it kind of missed the mark though, if I'm honest. Would you ever consider one-offs of newer shows like Psych? Yes, definitely. And especially Psych. I've gotten suggestions for it, particularly the Clue parody that they did. But in general, sometimes I'm afraid of doing newer shows. I sometimes get into my head that they're more likely to get copyright struck. I don't know if that's true or not, because like I said, I get copyright struck on things like, you know, The Brave Little Toaster and Murder, She Wrote, of all things. So I would consider it. It just depends on what I'm doing the one-off on. You know, it depends on the episode. It depends on how much it strikes me. I really do my videos when something strikes me, you know. Most of my videos come out very soon after I have the idea, so I kind of work on a more spontaneous method, I suppose. Of all the crossovers you've ever done, who was the coolest person to work with? I am gonna say that it was Allison from Movie Nights 10 years ago. No, I love Allison. We did a Let's Play together 10 years ago. Of course, it was you, Dominic Noble. If you don't know who Dominic Noble is, go check out Dominic Noble on YouTube. Yes, I love doing the crossover on Goosebumps. That was super fun, and I would love to do more adaptation crossovers because it's just fun. It is just fun to talk about adaptations. I really, really like that. And yeah, we should do it again. Another adaptation. Maybe Stephen King. That's my jam. I would love to do that. So you know how to get a hold of me, so contact me if you would like to do the Langoliers. Okay, everyone. Oh man, I just answered a lot of questions. I hope this was enjoyable for you. I hope it was relaxing. I hope you enjoyed watching me do art as I answered all of your questions. If you're interested in becoming a patron so you can ask me more questions, definitely check out my campaign. All of that shit's in the description. You know the drill. And again, I will see. Thank you. Wow, I'm really botching this outro. Thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!